We are on the phone lines right now with Blanca. Blanca, how you doing today?
Hi. Hello, guys. I'm doing good.
Thanks so much for joining us. You are a busy woman right now. You've got a lot going on.
I am. I do. But I can't complain. I'm like, this is what I've worked hard for, what I dreamed for, and God's doing amazing things, so I can't complain.
Awesome. Well, Blanca just released her latest album. It's called Shattered. It dropped on the 14th, so just a few days ago. We also is about to go out on tour. It's the Mandisa's Girls Night Live with Mandisa, Candace Payne, and Jasmine Murray. And that is coming to our area, Upper Arlington. They'll be there on the 29th, which is next Saturday. And on October the 6th, they will be in Troy. So we are excited to see you there. But why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about this album? It's called Shattered. What's it about? Why'd you write it?
This album is a very, very special album for me. It's a very emotional album for me. I walked through pretty difficult time, probably the hardest time in my life to date. I lost my mom to breast cancer in December of 2016. And, in the middle of all that, I'm like going through taking care of her, and we had her in hospice care, and just being present with my family and trying the best that I can to take care of my mom. And I have a 5-year-old and a husband, and the label's like, okay, we need a new record, what's going on? And I was just like at my lowest point. So after my mom passed away in December, that's when these songs kind of just started flowing out, and God just placed a lot on my heart, and that's what Shattered is all about. It's honestly about, the redeeming power of God and how he can take such a traumatic experience or your most broken, shattered place and restore it and make you stronger than you ever thought possible.
You mentioned that the songs kind of started pouring out. What were some practical things that you did in this dark time, this dark moment, these moments of loss for you that helped you make it through and ultimately produce this creative album?
In that specific regard, like I have songs on this album, for instance, a song called Remind Me, and it talks about I take a look around, everything's falling apart. It feels like my world is just kind of upside down. And but the chorus says, remind me you are all that I need. Remind me of your faithfulness and your goodness. Take me back to what you've already done in my life and show me like your hand and how you've worked in it, because it's kind of hard to see right now. But, give me a better perspective. And so that's honestly what helped me through that dark season, is to just keep my mind focused on God's truth and just knowing that this wasn't gonna last forever. And but it was very difficult. There was some hard moments where I'm like, God, what are you doing? What's going on? And I think some of the songs reflect that too, just the fear and the kind of back and forth in my mind of where I was.
Now, if any of our listeners are kind of in a similar place, maybe they just lost someone that they loved, or they're just feeling like it's just really dark right now, what kind of encouragement would you give them?
I think the biggest thing you can do in times of, whether it be, like you said, losing someone, or feeling like maybe you're dealing with depression or something that is just a very hard time, is to, one, not lose hope. Trust the Lord through it all, as hard as it can be. Like I said, remember his faithfulness in your life. That is it's been key to me to be able to look back and see, man, God, you haven't left my side. You haven't, I'm not alone in this. There's proof in my life of how you've taken me out of dark and hard situations. This time is no different. So just keeping your eyes focused on him and speaking truth and speaking life out of your circumstances, and not allowing, your mind to go to the worst possible scenario.
Now, also speaking of your album and the things that we can find on it, anybody who turns on their radio these days know that it's kind of the in thing to add some Spanish into your songs. And there's so many songs that are coming out that are either partially in Spanish or fully in Spanish. And you have some Spanish on this upcoming album. Is that why you did it? Because you just wanted to be in the in crowd?
Oh, of course not. No, this has been honestly a dream of mine for a very long time. I'm Puerto Rican. My family is from Puerto Rico. And my dad, I lost my dad in 2011, and he was a Spanish, a Christian salsa kind of Spanish singer. And so when he passed away, that was a very hard time. And my mom would always be like, she called me Elaine because my mom is Blanca and I'm Blanca. So I'm, the second Blanca. So she called me by my middle name, and she'd be like, Elaine, like, you have to do something in Spanish, to honor your dad's legacy and all our family. It would just be so amazing to have, it's part of your culture. It's part of who you are. It's part of your roots. And I was always fearful because I'm like, I don't know. I speak fluent Spanish at home, and I could speak it to my family, but thinking of, like, actually singing it in Spanish and doing interviews in Spanish, I'm like, oh, my gosh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. But with this album, it was all about, bringing those goals and those dreams to life and honoring my parents through this music. So I have a song on the album called "Give It All" that has a Spanish feature, Redimidos, and he's a big artist in the Spanish Christian scene. But I also have a Spanish album, an EP releasing next year of some of these songs translated into Spanish. So I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. So the Spanish EP, that's going to be some of the same songs that we are seeing on Shattered, but they're going to be in Spanish, correct?
Yes. There'll be like one original song, and the rest will be translated songs from the album, like Amor Real, which is a song that I did. Real Love, my first single on the album, I recorded it in Spanish. And so it'll be that song and a few others from the record.
Awesome. And when can we expect that?
Oh, I'm pretty sure beginning of next year you'll be able to hear some of these other songs in Spanish.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We are speaking to Blanca, formerly of Group One Crew, and has been out doing her own thing for quite a while now. Her new album, Shattered, is available now. It dropped on the 14th. She's also getting ready to go out on tour with Mandisa, Jasmine Murray, and Candace Payne. They're going to be in our area soon. You can find details at our concert beat. Now, people know who Mandisa is, and Jasmine Murray, making waves, obviously. But Candace Payne is a household face, but not a household name. Who is she?
Candace Payne is, I'm really excited to meet Candace Payne because we've never met in person, but she is an internet sensation. Is that how you call it? Her video went viral. She is known as the Chewbacca Mom on YouTube. The video of the lady who buys the mask and puts it on and cracks herself up because it makes noises. I don't know if you've ever seen the video, but it's hilarious. So I'm excited to meet her.
Yes. If you haven't seen the video and you need a laugh today, definitely check that one out. It went viral, I don't know, maybe a year or so ago. Maybe it was longer than that. I'm really bad with timing, but she was just full of joy, absolute joy. And she's out on tour with you guys. Tell us a little bit about what people can expect with Mandisa's Girls Night Live.
Girls Night Live is going to be a very special event. It's geared towards, women, and it's exclusive to women. So sorry, guys out there that, wanted to come see Mandisa and Blanca out on tour. It's for girls only, but it's just a night where we can kind of let our guard down, talk about some real issues, get to the heart of the matter. We've all walked through some pretty difficult things. Mandisa has dealt with, out of the dark, some dark times in her life in these last few years. Me dealing with the loss of my mom. Jasmine Murray has dealt with a lot of fear and anxiety. And we get to just talk openly and honest about these issues. And you'll have entertainment. You'll have, some some emotional moments and then some God moments, and I'm sure Candace Payne is just going to be the cherry on top. So I'm really looking forward to Girls Night Live, and I think it's going to be an awesome event for ladies out there that want to connect and grow and have a night out with the girls.
Awesome. Now, something that makes this different than your typical tour, your typical show, most shows, you've got a handful of artists. You've maybe have somebody that does, some sort of mini sermon, or they talk about something somewhere in the middle there, and then that's it. But you guys have something slated for the end of the evening called Girl Chat, and I know the tour hasn't started yet, but can you kind of explain what you guys' thoughts on what that time is going to be?
Well, Mandisa is the brainchild behind this little baby. Like, she has dreamt this thing up and is putting all the pieces together, and she'll just voice memo us or Marco Polo us and say, guys, okay, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I want to do. So she has this idea of having a girl chat where we all get to go on stage, and I'm not sure if people are going to be able to ask questions, or they'll be pre-sent in, or whatever the case is, but we'll get to have a moment where we can let it all out and talk about real issues and all communicate together and just have this girl chat, this girl time together where we talk about the heart of the matter and these deep issues. So she wants it to be more than just a night out where you see a concert, hear some music, and go home. She wants to have an experience with the ladies and have us all kind of go on this journey together. So it is a little different than your normal tour, but it's going to be amazing.
Well, we are excited to be able to be a part of that. And you've been on tour before. You've been doing this for a long time. You were with Group One Crew for over a decade or close to a decade. Been doing in the music scene since the early 2000s. What would you say is your most memorable experience from being on tour?
Oh, the most memorable.
Good, bad, crazy, funny, whatever.
Oh my gosh. I'm trying to think of. Okay. This is not a glamorous one, okay? Is that all right?
That is perfectly all right.
Okay, so this is not a fun moment, but I did Winter Jam tour a few years back. And, Winter Jam is a pretty big tour. It's kind of like the monster of tours, because you have all these artists out, all these buses out. You're in the middle of winter, so it's a tough season, all this snow and trekking through. Well, of course, someone on our bus ends up getting sick, and they get some stomach bug, and it happened to be the guy that was sleeping on top of my bunk. So middle of the night, he ends up throwing up all over his sheets and his blankets, and we're like, oh no, the virus is out. So one by one we all start getting affected. And I remember it was Atlanta, Georgia. We did a show. My husband was on the drums. He was sick. I was sick, and I literally had a garbage can set by the drums on the stage because I would have to turn around and puke because I felt so sick. And I was like, I just have to push through. I will never forget that moment. That's probably the most memorable for me. I've had a few crazy ones out there, but that one was oh, get me through this and send me home.
So you didn't just have it in case, you actually used it because you puked on stage?
Yes, it was we had it. I probably looked green from the audience standpoint, but I was pretty sick, and I had to use the bucket.
Wow. Okay, follow-up question. Did the audience know what was happening? Did you tell everybody, or did you just play it off and have nobody know?
Well, I was able to play it off because I don't know if people know this, but I was in a group called Group One Crew for many years. And so this was at a time where I was out with Group One Crew. So there was 3 of us on stage, and, you know, we had the musicians. So I was able to slip off and, you know, do what I had to do and then come back on and act like nothing happened. We were able to support each other. I think now, if this just happened while I was by myself on the stage, I would just be like, oh, let's cut the set short. This is the last song, guys.
Oh, well, thank you for being honest and transparent with your experiences. We're excited, you know, that Girls Night Live is going to be bringing more of that about, that you've just been so open and vulnerable with this new album with Shattered. Thank you so much for sharing that with us and for going out on tour. We're so excited to see you once again. You can catch Blanca alongside of Mandisa, Jasmine Murray, and internet sensation Candace Payne in Upper Arlington on Saturday, September the 29th, and in Troy on Saturday, October the 6th. Full details can be found at yeshome.com. And you can catch Blanca's brand new album called Shattered. It is available now. Thank you so much, Blanca. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You guys take care.